How's it going, everyone? My name is Colin Winters. I'm the host of Panthers Den, and you're going to have to excuse the attire for today. I just got back from work, and I have very little time to get this video out, so I have to record it, edit it, and then ship it off to be scheduled for tomorrow. So, whoop-de-doo-da-day. The topic we're going to be talking about today, of course, is the pre-game to Week 2 of the Panthers season, which is against the Saints. We are fighting the Saints at home in our first matchup of the year, and that means I think we're going to take this game by a very surprising margin. Before I get right into it, yes, the Saints had a very dominant performance against the Green Bay Packers, a team that went to the NFC Championship last year and, of course, lost, as the Packers do in the NFC Championship. Despite the fact of how well the Saints did, I'm not that scared of them this season just because of the fact that I feel like it was more the Packers imploding on themselves at every turn more than it was the Saints actually doing good. If we look at the stats here, Jameis Winston had 5 touchdowns, which is impressive, but only 148 yards. Many of the passes he made being very few bombs, about 1 or 2 bombs that were for touchdowns, but most of all their yards coming from Alvin Kamara and Tony Jones Jr., and then, of course, Jameis Winston ran for a good few yards as well. Taysom Hill only ran 2 times for 1 yard. What it came down to really was the defense holding the Green Bay Packers to 3 points, and then the offense just having to run the ball over the pretty much desolate Packers run defense. So, honestly, the Saints did win in a dramatic fashion, but if you look really deep into how they win, it wasn't all that surprising. The Packers in Week 1, after having a bit of drama over the offseason, I'm not surprised that they performed poorly, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just come back angry and beat whoever the fuck is they're playing next. For the Panthers, on the other hand, of course, in Week 1, we played the Jets. The Jets was a much easier matchup, but something that I feel like a lot of people appreciate what the Jets bring to the table, which is a young QB who knows how to sling that rock, and a underrated wide receiver core, not nearly as underrated as ours, but they brought in Corey Davis, and they got Jamison Crowder, so meh. Of course, Jamison Crowder was out for the game against the Panthers, but I don't think that would have made much of a difference. Our defense was completely dominant, especially against the run during the Jets, so if we can neutralize the run, yes, I am very well aware that Alvin Kamara is much better than any of the backs that the Jets have, but if we can neutralize the run in any way, shape, or form, if we can at least slow Kamara down, I feel like we can make Jameis very uncomfortable in the pocket, making him have to run, and of course, we have a very fast and young defense that I feel like can catch up to him if he tries to break out of the pocket. Overall, we saw that in our game against the Jets that our weapons are back and we are stronger than ever. McCaffrey is back and ready to tear the league up again. The connection between Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold is stronger than ever. And of course, DJ Moore is like a god living amongst us, making catches that have like less than 20% probability. So, we have a pretty good set of weapons, and we have a quarterback that is seeming a lot more comfortable. The only thing that would be in a point of worry is offensive line, and of course, that was a big point of worry in the game that the Saints had against the Packers because of the fact that David Bakhtiari was out for that game. But still, the Packers line, even though albeit thin as it is, was pretty good at keeping Rodgers upright. Of course, he got hit a few times, but if our team can just do that, I feel like Sam's going to have a field day against a battered Saints secondary. And to that Saints secondary, I may have to say that yes, they are quite injured. Losing Marshawn Lattimore probably for the game that we are playing. I have not been told anything about him playing, so it is to be assumed that he's going to be out for that game along with Quan Alexander and Marcus Davenport. Very big hits to that defense that could allow Christian McCaffrey to run wild and Sam to throw at every point he wants to. To go more in depth on how battered the Saints defense is, I have their injury report right here. Quan Alexander is out with game assets out with an elbow injury. Marcus Davenport out with a shoulder injury. Their linebacker Chase Hansen is out with a groin injury. Their center, which is not their defense but is still pretty good to know, is out with a calf injury. Linebacker Pete Werner is out with a hamstring injury, and to the questionables are C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Tano, name I will not even try to pronounce, Marshawn Lattimore, and then P.J. Williams. All of them are questionable, but of course, Marshawn Lattimore just recently had surgery on his hand, so I would say they're just being hopeful, and he will most likely be out for the game, but who knows, I could be wrong. When it comes to our injury report, we are very much less extensive. What we have right now is we have no game status official, but for Daquan Jones, he had limited practices up till Friday that we know about. Taylor Moton will be a huge loss, and he only had limited practice. He has a groin injury. Justin Burst was full practice. Sean Chandler was full practice. Pat Effling was full practice. John Miller was full practice coming off of COVID-related illness. And then Shi Smith was now full practice and should be ready to go for this week 2. What that means for us is that injury report is going to be very limited. Of course, injuries that are having limited practice at the moment, which makes me worried, would be, of course, Taylor Moton having the limited practices right now. And if we lose our best lineman, then oh fuck. Overall, I believe this is going to be a win for the Panthers. If I had to guess what the score was going to be, I'm going to go back to my score of last week, which was 28-13 or 28-10. I feel like we're going to be able to contain Kamara, and that will make Jameis very uncomfortable because he'll have to be forced to make more deep passes against our very fast-moving secondary. I think that could spell doom for the New Orleans Saints. I see everyone praising the Saints for how they did against Packers, but I feel like that was more of a matchup on the coaching side more than it was actually players balling out. So we'll have to see if Jameis can recreate those 5 touchdowns by himself now, not just because the Packers imploded. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys after the game. Bye-bye.